We about to open up a whole can of primatology discussion. So sit your candy ass down, because it's monkey time, bitch. Gorilla Radio. Turn that shit to a reasonable volume so as to be considerate of others.
Monkeys go directly to hell. I think it's episode 81, but I want to make sure.
Okay.
Hit the intro.
I think, I'm going to hit the intro now.
That's a great intro. I think it's episode 81. I'm not sure.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 81 of Gorilla Radio Show. We're here, as always, as the main trio. We've got Austin over there, looking like that. We've got Chandran, higher than a mountain goat.
Hello.
And we, I think for the very first time, have a very, very special guest. Edwin, introduce yourself.
He's not that special. That's what Austin was about to say.
I meant Ed was on, like, the anniversary episode.
The anniversary, yeah.
Ed was on the in-camera episode.
Yeah,
but this is a real episode.
This is a real episode that people are going to actually
This is
watch.
one you can rewatch
or
re-listen to.
Yeah.
That was a fun time. Hi, I'm Ed, and I'm here.
Thanks, Ed.
Yes.
Back to you, Ed.
Hey, fuck you, Ed. You ain't shit.
Fuck you.
Damn.
Fuck you, Baltimore.
It's a very, very special day today, everyone. I don't know if you know,
It
but
is.
the evil empire is 249 years old today.
It's July 4th.
Do you know, year 250, they're doing a
fireworks.
big mud wrestling match on the White House lawn?
I
Yup.
did. I would like anyone, if you're sitting at home, please go and shoot fireworks off near the police department, near their dogs especially. Any veterans you know who have like a big MAGA flag, do it right outside their house. Too,
Anywhere
okay?
you see a Marine Corps flag flying up next to the American flag, just...
Part of their service to the American people, just reach into your closest veterans' supply of money, wallet, pocket, purse. Their money is your money now.
Their money is your money.
As of right now. Western New York, you listen to me.
Oh! How is
Yes.
it up in Western New York, Austin?
Well, I woke up this
cold,
morning
white north.
fucking shivering. It was 50 degrees.
Yeah,
That's
brother.
what you grew back there.
Welcome to hell. I live here already.
Is it like this every morning? Like it's just
it's like this every
fucking
day.
cold?
Actually, no, that's not true. Most of the time in the last month, you wake up and it's like 70.
Okay.
Why
But,
do
like,
people do this to yourself?
It doesn't get much hotter. Like today, I think today's high was like
I
70.
fuck with 50-degree mornings, though. It's like crisp.
It's crisp.
Until your fucking feet are frozen
Well,
cold.
the problem is I was sleeping
damn flight.
with the window open, so I couldn't.
Why would
Like
you-
I just woke up and I was
he's missing
shivering
those
in
South
me
Carolina
timbers.
summers.
I'll die.
Yeah,
from
why'd
a
you
cold
sleep
in
with the
North
window
Carolina.
open, dog? It's humid as fuck out here.
Listen
You're just gonna be
to
cold
cicadas.
and wet in the morning. Close the fucking window.
Well, he's wet every night.
He's learned that last one.
Well, I know he is.
Well,
That shit's
okay,
terrific.
I won't get into it too much because we have other things to discuss this episode.
You
but
wanna
Yeah,
get
I
out of it?
educated
He
myself.
getting action in Grammy's house.
no, I mean it's just hot as fuck in the house too. It's it's one of those old houses that didn't have any central air. It just has like some radiators because it used to be
But
cold
it's
there all the
built-
time.
It's built to circulate so that you don't.
Well, anyway, on to more interesting
Yeah.
news. Before we jump into the topic today, I
Okay.
do have big news.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
playing.
I
planning
will
something
be.
big.
I will be the call. I wish. I fucking wish. Just end it. I will be a call-in host for the rest of the month because I'm going abroad. Au revoir. See ya. See ya next
Motherfucker
time.
always
this
going
month.
abroad.
You're my
Always
friend,
gotta
Bob.
go abroad. You know, I and my family, we love to see each other, and seeing each other just so happens to mean that we will also see the world.
Shit. Wait,
Ha,
no,
ha, ha.
for real?
Leprosy.
You need to factory reset your phone before you come back in.
Yeah, I do, don't I?
'Cause
Why?
they will search it. They'll
They check
search
your
it.
phones. They check
Oh
your
yeah,
phones.
they
They
are
check
searching
everybody's
people's
phones
phones
now.
who come into
They
America
check
now.
everybody's phones now and low key. Like, we're not on a priority one, but our asses are flagged.
Uh-huh.
For shit like
Yeah,
this.
plus you're brown, so they're
Plus
gonna
I'm brown.
definitely
Plus you're brown.
Plus
And
I'm brown.
you're gay.
And I'm gay.
And not only
I had
brown,
a
but
dream
gay?
last night that a TSA agent called me gay and put me in jail. But it was, I don't remember the details. It was abstract. I think the TSA agent was represented
They
by
are
like
you're gonna land at like LAX. You're gonna land at like LAX when you come back, and they are going to call you gay and then put you in the fucking alligator camp.
They're gonna get my ass. They're gonna send me down to El Salvador, man. Fuck no. They're gonna.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna denaturalize
are they
me.
gonna do that if I go into Canada?
Are they gonna denaturalize you?
Are they gonna just like if I try to come back in? Are they just gonna like?
Yes, they're gonna look through your phone.
So I just can't go to Canada.
More than any of us. No, just factory reset it. Save everything to an iCloud backup. Factory reset, and then take off your Face ID.
Jesus fucking Christ, man! Is that?
Yeah, so you are protected under the Fifth Amendment for your passcode, but not for your biometrics.
They can just hold a phone up, and it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
Look,
Well-
okay, what are you even gonna do in Canada?
I don't know. I just
Don't you work-
I've
I know you work
heard
in
the
American
Canadian
Niagara.
side of Niagara Falls is cooler,
Ain't
but
they
I guess I'm not
working you, boy?
fucking going there. What?
Ain't you too busy getting worked, boy?
Yeah, I've worked 9 days straight employed.
So, what
Scheduled.
happened was the pay period for this job. It is an AZ aquarium. The pay period for this job is Saturday through Friday, and I started Monday. So they're like, "Oh, okay. So you had 2 days off this week. So you're going to start Monday through Friday, and then you're going to work Saturday, Sunday,
through
Monday,
Friday.
Tuesday, and then you get 2 days off because that's a new pay period. So I'm working 9 days in a row, which is like, come
I
on,
see.
man.
This won't be the standard.
This won't be the standard. No, not at all.
Just
thankfully.
unfortunate timing, which I feel like
Just
you
unfortunate
should
timing.
not let happen. That why would they do that to you? just give you your fucking 2 days off.
That does kind of go into the topic of like,
Slavery?
no, not the topic of slavery, but just the various
That's-
forms of exploitation and labor related shit that kind of goes into this the thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
way
what
I
wanted
did
to
my
talk
reading.
about-
I did the reading.
I
Yeah,
see.
Ed actually
Did you
reads, motherfucker. Not
Read!
you guys.
Read? I didn't even
I
know
didn't read
there were
it,
notes for this
man.
episode. I was just like thought we were gonna hang out.
It's all right. So before we get into like the meat of it that Ed actually, read and did research and stuff for, quick update.
Whoa, what a wonderful guest.
Don't give me too
Schooling
much
the host and how to do their job.
Don't give me too much credit. I read the beginning, or not the beginning. I read Austin's little blurb, and then I looked. I was like, let me look up the standards for this shit. Hey, this is like awful.
It's nuanced. It's complicated, but we'll get into it. So
Dubious. All right, yeah.
first,
Go ahead.
first
Austin
little
explaining
item on
fascism.
our docket. No, first little item on our docket is there's several articles about the online monkey torture video people getting arrested because there's several more. Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts
Carolina
recently.
mentioned.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's been arrests there. Monkey torture ring administrator from Scotland sentenced to prison. 27-month prison sentence. I don't know if that's a lot in Scotland. Maybe
From
it's
Scotland, eh?
it's
From
still
Scotland. From
all these
Scotland.
people. Like, there's probably
Torturing
like
monkeys in Scotland. That's what I'm doing.
there's probably like been like almost 300 arrests in this thing so far, just from like various freaks. But they're never really getting sentenced very long, which is like. I guess I understand because they're just paying someone else to torture an animal for them, but like,
Yeah,
it
because the guy in
feels like-
Scotland doesn't have monkeys in Scotland to torture. 'cause
look,
he's in Scotland.
I am a prison abolitionist, but I think I should be allowed to do something super unethical to like at least one of these guys.
Well, if
like,
we're gonna have zoos, we might as well like put them in the zoos with the gorillas and like other
like we
great
should be
apes,
able
just for
to
them have
boil
fun
at
with.
least one of the. We should be able to draw and quarter one of these guys.
You don't need prisons, right? For certain crimes and certain people.
No,
I'll tell
no,
you,
don't.
you only just need, just like
boiling cauldron of
He's
lava.
been waiting to pull that one out.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know. I
Please
do
talk.
know.
Yeah. No, I mean it's it's good that people are still actually getting punished for this, because at least I was gonna say at least it's a deterrent, but then I'm like, well, I can't really say prison's a good deterrent because it's not. It's just, you know.
I'm like not a prison abolitionist, right?
Low-key, I'm like not a prison abolitionist sometimes. Some of you motherfuckers need to die.
You don't need prison for that.
Yeah, you don't need
Some
to
people should be locked away forever.
It's like realizing you need guns. You also
I just
need
think
prisons.
I just think the mode of how we do this needs to change,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, it can't just
Yeah,
be like, oh, you sold weed, so we're going to put you in, like, the fucking molestation insanity-inducing chamber for a couple years.
Think for that crime specifically, it should be far harsher than that.
Oh, for weed? For you think it should be, like, capital punishment, even?
Oh,
Yeah, like, throw you out of the
we should
helicopter.
We should be treating that like human trafficking.
Like right now,
Yeah, of course.
You should throw me out of the helicopter right now because I smoked so much weed. I deserve to die.
It's capital punishment. It's capital punishment for potheads unless you do like a really cool amount of weed. Like,
And also, I have glasses.
Like a
Can't
garbage
be
bag
doing
full
the
of
glasses thing.
ditchweed.
I can tell like you're cooked though because for like the last 5 minutes I couldn't tell if the camera was frozen or you just weren't.
Not
Yeah,
moving.
just sitting here smiling. Nothing to say.
you have a beautiful smile, Chandran.
I took a whole edible and it was like,
fucking
oh
take
my
one.
god, I still have weed to smoke. And I smoked more before the edible hit. And I was like, why'd I do that? And then I just...
I ate an edible.
my brain turned
I ate
off.
another one.
Yup.
Okay, so I want to read this article, but I kind of don't want to go into because they go into the details of what that guy did to the monkey again. I don't want to read that
Can
out.
you do it in a
Let's
Scottish
read 'em.
accent?
Let's read it.
We should do this whole article in a Scottish accent. It's about the Scottish guy,
It gets so horrible. It gets so horrible.
Where
No,
is
it's
this
just
article
that
anyway?
the person who was arrested was unsatisfied with their $40 monkey torture commission video and thought that he
Oh,
wasn't
yeah, naturally.
he wasn't torturing the monkey good enough.
You
I won't go
gotta-
into
you
any more
gotta
specifics
put your
than that.
fucking elbow into it.
He said, so lame, live and learn. So the group tried again. Quote unquote, Million Tears, which is the name of the group chat, I guess, had been booted by its host, but the group reconstituted on another platform and renamed itself The Trail of Trillion Tears. Jesus Christ.
That's insane.
What the fuck?
Ronald Bedra of Ohio pled guilty. His mother said that her son must have been undergoing some mental crisis. Yeah, man.
Yeah? How long did he get sentenced for?
54 months in prison.
How long was the guy from Virginia sentenced for? Like a couple
not
years
sure.
that we talked
Oh,
about
you know what
originally?
though? On the bright side, he lost his job, wife, and the kids in the divorce. So
Okay, good.
yeah, probably good.
Yeah.
Probably for the best, actually.
Yeah, weren't there?
He's
haven't
not.
there
He's
been,
not.
like
He should be a part of
ties?
society in that way.
Well, I think in a like previous episode, I may be misremembering, but weren't there like ties, people that do the monkey abuse thing? And I know there was like alt-right ties or whatever, but wasn't there also like,
yeah.
child abuse ties?
Yeah, no, all that shit's connected. I don't want to go. We've decided to not go into too much detail on it on the show because these are the kind of people that will track you down and like send decapitated horses to your home.
Delightful.
But like actual like Nazi terrorist organizations / pedophile organizations, kind of the same thing. They dabble in both.
Crucified.
They got their fingers in it.
Boiling oil.
Yeah, no. Let's move on to something less horrifying.
Yeah, man. And
I just wanted to say that
Stuff
it was
is
like
happening.
2 years ago that we talked to Yardfish and Monkey Mayhem. And they were like, yeah, there's going to be some arrests coming out. We're still working on it. And yeah, there's been like a constant stream of arrests. It's
Non-stop,
slow,
like-
but it's going.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So
I mean, again, whatever politics on like imprisonment or whatever you have aside, just fuck these people. Throw them in like a fucking giant hole in the earth, low-key. So... Greg, I need you to snap out of it. I can see in your eyes that you're reading the details and just fucking plunging into an abyss.
I'm reading the Scottish Sun article.
Yeah, don't read that one, buddy.
Oh my god, this is that's chills. They should fucking kill this woman.
right. Keep in mind the request what they got, and they're like, nah, not enough. They did it again, got a request that's more what they wanted, and they were like, nah, make it worse. Like, take the monkey suffering, double it.
Imagine, like, for all of our artists out there, when you're commissioning, when you're doing a commission piece for someone, and they're like, they keep sending it back, like, make her tits fatter, make his balls bigger. It's like that, but for just the most heinous crimes you can imagine.
How many times do you have to message those artists before you get what you want?
Well, I find it normally takes like at least 3 times before they get it the way I want it. Anyways.
Oh shit.
No, I what do you think? I pay artists? No, I'm kidding.
Austin comes out as an AI enjoyer.
We're lightening the mood here. We're pivoting away from this. So let's talk about the AZA.
Woohoo! You are now an AZA shill. We have to tell the whole audience
I'm not a shill. I just need to work at an AZA institution if I want a job that I like.
Paid by big AZA to promote them.
I'm not even like promoting them. I'm just recognizing the reality that like they run this shit.
AZA shill.
So AZA, I believe, was once called the American Zoological Association. Maybe. I think that's what old people call it, but it's the Association of Zoos and Aquariums now because they incorporated aquariums in the mix there.
Good for them. We love
essentially, the AZA is like the governing body deciding which zoos meet a certain standard of prestige to be allowed in their organization. Like, when you go, like, a state zoo is going to be AZA accredited, but there's weirdness here because, like, you don't need to be AZA accredited.
They're totally independent body, right?
Yeah, like, they're not like a government organization. They're essentially like a private club where basically you are going to have your nose turned up at you by people in the field if you're not working at one of these places in America. So in the past, and on that note, like almost every single AZA accredited zoo is an American zoo. In the past, like 10 or so years, there's been a push for an expansion to other countries, but like at most, like maybe like a small fraction are in other countries, and it's like maybe one from each country, like not even.
Okay.
Didn't you mention that like a zoo that's pretty solid, but is not like would not be considered AZA, whatever? It's like the one in Paris, and it's like,
yeah, I don't know, it's some French shit, but it's like the Paris Zoological Park basically is like by all means a decent zoo, a cool looking zoo, a huge zoo even, but they're not AZA accredited. They have no like accreditation process because I don't know the specifics on the financials of the Paris Zoo, but I assume it's like a city funded thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Like in Europe they tend to like fund parks and such.
Hey, I'm just speculating.
What?
I don't know what they.
I'm just speculating here. I think they do that, but it's kind of the AZA is kind of like a closed system where I've talked about this before. They just won't even consider your application unless you have experience at another AZA institution. Like, essentially what that works out to is that you either have to volunteer completely free for, like, I don't know, a year or two until maybe they'll hire you part-time, and then maybe they'll hire you full-time after a couple of years. I don't know, something like that. Or you can, like, move across the country for a seasonal work.
Wow. I wonder if anyone would really do that.
If anyone would ever do something silly like that.
Ooh,
No, I mean, like, fuck, hold on. Let me see. I think it was like the Milwaukee Zoo website. They had like a how to become a zookeeper thing. And it was like, if you want to become a zookeeper, you have to be willing to move across the country and work for free. Like, what?
Yeah. That's a
Like,
healthy
man.
industry, baby. Hell yeah.
yeah,
I love industry, dude. Yes.
yeah. When I was reading me being like, man, I sure hope I don't come out all ignorant mode on this. I looked up the standards to become AZA accredited. It's like a 120-page long booklet, and it's kind of insane because there's a lot of like, it's a lot of mental whiplash here because some of it makes sense. It's like, yeah, if you want to be recognized as a real zoo, You should have X amount of like veterinary standards. You should be capable of maintaining habitats to X amount standards, to X amount whatever. Be able to develop enrichment. And it's all scientific, all very whatever. And then out of nowhere, it'll be like, and make sure you got attractions ready. That popcorn truck better be fucking sparkling, buddy. So it's kind of like this whole thing where these organizations, and to be in the club, you have to be equal parts scientists and equal parts like fucking like carny.
Yeah. But not too sciencey
so
and not
cool
too
how
carny.
you did research for this, Ed.
I
I
value you guys'
It's
time.
so cool.
Yeah, at least someone around here values my time.
I think the issue with the AZA is the issue with everything we talk about on this show. Are we ready to get into really deep, like really like? Do we have more like hits we have to make before we like jump to the
Are
this
you
is all
teacher
about
or you
capitalism?
John in this scenario?
Well, we could just go ahead and say up front, yeah, it's about capitalism. That's why it's like this.
I'm just gonna say the thing.
It's because it's like this.
Private company controlling the what the standards are for zoos and whatnot.
Private 501c3.
Yeah, it's like a board, you know.
Nonprofit.
Some board.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit. Bullshit. It's all
how could a
nonprofit
manage or be a part of the land management of the entire United States?
By being extremely profitable.
Exactly. We got the fundamental issue with the AZA is like, oh yeah, we'll get people to do the work that we want them to do in a little profitable amusement park for the kids, instead of like taking control of the land that we are all, using to live on. And sorry, I'm just saying that we should do land reform.
Yeah,
that's really the
that's one way to say
here.
that. Yeah,
we should be doing land reform. We don't need the AZA. We need
land
reform.
I don't know.
Land reform, but we save the animals.
Something I learned from getting part of my master's degree was like a certificate in nonprofit management, because I'm like, all right, if I'm going into this field, I'm going to have to learn how to navigate this bullshit.
Exactly.
A big part of like Reagan and Clinton's complete fracturing of
our goats.
Not our goats. They're whatever the opposite of a goat is.
Our anti-goats.
Our woats, worst of all time.
Our anti-goats, gives you a terrible deal, claiming it's good. Our Libras, if you will.
Yeah. So part of their whole thing was like breaking up, like civil society as a whole, like the public.
Yeah.
The government as a venue of like public.
Oh, are you
service.
A public citizen? You should fucking die.
Yeah. You fucking idiot.
Transferring all of that to the nonprofit sector, which is run like a business, but it's got but like in a silly way, like
in like a silly goose.
like a pinky promise we won't do anything bad way.
Yeah,
like that was like the crux of neoliberalism, is the complete shifting of like efficiently run government to bureaucratic nonprofit networks that are all like in 1,000 different organizations that come together in like a board meeting and debate something for like 5 hours straight and then leave with nothing, that kind of thing.
They send the head of their board to a big board meeting, and that board sends the head of their board to another big board meeting. And then that board meeting, they send the big board member to the bigger
They're going to circle back on this.
And then, it's board meetings all the way down.
Yeah, let's
it's
circle
all
back
board
on
meetings.
That. Let's touch base on this.
So we can keep that the thought in mind.
That's gonna be what they say when they land on fucking Mars. We've touched base on Mars.
Just circling back on Mars.
Circling back on the Mars question.
Whoa.
Yeah, Austin, you're the expert in this, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about something else that hits close to home, an identity crisis. So tell us a little bit about the identity crisis at the zoos.
American zoos have been undergoing like a kind of identity crisis for like the past fucking at least 60, 80 years maybe. I don't know. So the expectations of what a zoo is supposed to be varies culturally. For example, in France, in the Paris Zoo, there was a study performed in 2017 where zoo visitors, like the main thing they got out of it was they all self-reported a increased awareness of the wildlife around them, like local birds in the city, and feeling connected with nature.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
there's this Mexican zoo, I think it's called Zoo Leon, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Acceptable. There was someone's, I don't know if it was a PhD thesis or a master's thesis, but I read it because I was looking into like the anthropology of zoos, and it's by Dustin Kenneth Miller. It's called Towards a Globalization of Conservation Models in Zoos, and it was about like how, this guy was essentially trying to get this zoo in Mexico accredited with the AZA as a part of this expansion to other countries outside of just America and like 6 zoos in Canada. And the problem was like what the zoo wanted to be and what the people wanted the zoo to be was not at all aligned with anything that the AZA board wanted. This zoo was seen as a family gathering place, like a family bonding experience where you just go and look at the monkeys, which is ostensibly what it is in America, but we have like this massive facade you have to walk through in order to get the enjoyment from it first. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they did end up failing the accreditation process. Like this zoo is still not accredited. Like they just never went through with it. And a lot of the pivot that zoos in America have been making is they started out as like basically P.T. Barnum circus shit, right? And entertainment and just come here and throw peanuts at the gorillas kind of thing. But over time, they needed to sort of justify themselves for existing, I guess. And, the way they justified that, like at the advent of neoliberalism, I guess, was we're educational. We're an education facility. We're educating your children about monkeys. And so, for a time there, probably like the 80s to the 2000s, if you went to the zoo, they'd be like, all right, here's a monkey. Did you know that monkeys eat bananas? Okay, now you can look at the monkey, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
zoos don't really do that anymore. What they do is their education departments have all pivoted towards educating the public about their mission, which is something nonprofits love to do. They love to educate the public about their mission.
They love to have a mission.
Love to have a mission statement.
I do have to say, I know we're being cynical here, but the Asheboro Zoo here in North Carolina, still a fucking bang up killer zoo.
No,
Great
it's a
zoo.
good zoo.
Still the
Last time I
greatest
went
zoo
there,
of all time.
I just reminded me because last time I went there, they did have guided tours all around, or like people at every exhibit like explaining to all the kids what the monkeys were doing and their whole social status and their like social family bonds and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it is there still. It is there still. But
yeah, I actually volunteered at that zoo, and they basically use like fun facts to draw you in so they can talk. They can be like, what's something you can do to protect wildlife? Are you going to throw away your trash when you get home? Like, stuff like that. And that's like how they promote their mission. And their zoos are now like through the sort of guidance of the AZA are focused on conservation, not education, not entertainment, but conservation. However, they still need to have education and entertainment in order to remain profitable and like interesting to go to.
Exactly.
Because otherwise they'd just be like a sanctuary where no one's allowed to visit. And if no one's visiting, no one's donating because they're like, well, if I can't see the monkeys, why the fuck do I care?
They're all salespeople. They're in your face. They're like, whoa, buy our monkeys. Give us more money.
They love selling shit.
So the process for AZA accreditation, here are the distinguishing characteristics of an AZA accredited institution. Like, so this is what they have to hit. Extraordinary focus on animal care and well-being. Duh. Modern facilities and practices for comprehensive veterinary care. Cool. Scientific advancement in animal care and conservation. So that's like off rip. Their focus is obviously animal care and conservation. It's going to be themes and variations on this, like for like half the list. Exhibit aesthetics and habitat studies, planning and design. Halfway down, it says innovative and inspirational educational programs and experiences, excellence in guest engagement and effective guest services, economic development and community partnerships. That's
Give them their hot dogs.
That's that NGO shit right there.
the economic.
Yeah,
This is how
it's like
every
they've got it.
company
They have to
now-
do everything.
Professional
They have to
staff development and training, comprehensive preparedness in public and animal safety, sound business planning and financial management, dynamic and mission-driven strategic and master planning. And then this is the one that stuck out to me when I was talking to Austin about it, because I'm like, this is fake. This is not a real thing. It literally, in quotations, raising the bar and regularly advancing operational standards. And like Austin said, there's a huge focus on conservation stuff, afterthought on education, and then you also have to be like, these employees are expected to all kind of do all of this. And
I mean, at my current job, they have me for 8 hours straight going around and doing like, everyone is doing every job. Everyone is testing the water quality. Everyone is preparing the food. Everyone is like building things. Everyone is training the animals. Everyone is like mopping the floors. Everyone is doing everything, literally.
yeah, like everyone's expected to be combination zookeeper, veterinarian, biologist, scientist, fucking carpenter, curriculum designer, understanding how to do fucking pedagogy, all that shit. You have to do a bajillion things and work with customers and stuff, and you're getting paid all of like $2 an hour for it.
Hey, I'm making $17 an hour.
That's terrible.
I can't
think
believe
that
you just said that out loud, man.
Yeah, that's crazy that you would say that.
Good lord.
I also think that the big thing that I don't know if you're picking it, you are.
I mean, sorry.
But the biggest piece of this is maintain their financial standards to maintain profitability. That's just neoliberalism in action.
Oh my God, Austin, we solved the problem. Just go work at a zoo overseas. They don't care about AZA.
We can
You can go at a zoo job right
That's
now.
true.
We could
And
have
live in a good country.
Probably.
we could have gorillas in Paris.
That
Who's in Paris?
So
Paris?
Austin, you would kill in France.
you guys actually hit on something
Get this white boy speaking a little bit of French.
that reminded me of. I know we're all tired of every internet leftist, every podcaster ever constantly referencing fucking Mark Fisher. However, Chapter 6
I
of
don't ever
Capitalist
reference-
Realism by Mark Fisher.
That capitalism be real, man. It'd be beating my ass.
All of that is solid melts into PR. Market Stalinism and bureaucratic anti-production. Very fun, silly chapter name. Anyways, he starts out by talking, as any good popular theorist does, about a movie from the 90s called
They gotta
Office
do it.
Space.
When you sent me this, I rolled my eyes so fucking hard. I had to relock back in because it's a good chapter. I read it. It was good. It's just kind of like...
I will say, unlike every other annoying online leftist and podcaster, I have quite literally never read this book.
Oh.
I know nothing about Mark Fisher.
It was
why your spirit is
like
pure.
it is a perfect encapsulation of
That's why I'm usually
the Occupy Wall Street movement and why
Oh,
it failed,
sucks.
unfortunately. It was very incisive and insightful into American life and like the torture labyrinth that we're putting ourselves in every day, but it doesn't have a solution. His solution was like, dude, I don't know, just try and like focus more on labor rights.
That's the realism part. There's no solution. Kill yourself. It's all over, dude.
Well, that's a problem. Mark Fisher literally killed himself.
Yeah,
I
you did-
know.
you
Listen.
did stuff, didn't
Did y'all expect to live through the end of the American Empire?
you? I did.
I didn't realize he killed
You know
himself.
what?
Sorry,
I'm
Mark Fisher.
Pack Watch. It's coming.
It's
For
fine.
you,
So,
you got your
anyways.
wages have gone down in a week, dog. Inflation went up this week.
okay, so
What was the sound you make? Jesus.
That was a
Christ.
crazy noise.
Oh my...
it
That
was
was-
pain
that was-
escaping my body.
That was him realizing that by the time he comes back to North Carolina, cookout trays will be $12.
Jesus Christ. Somebody...
Fuck. So, the movie Office Space, there's this bit where the staff are required to decorate their uniforms with 7 pieces of flair, and if you only wear 7 pieces of flair, you get in trouble because the manager will ask you if you want to look like the sort of person who only does the bare minimum. So it's like, oh, well, we're asking you put on 7 pieces of flair to express your individuality, but you have to go above and beyond. He also goes into evaluations. I had to take a course on program evaluation, and oh my god, Greg, you probably know all about this shit, but it's like
I do.
it's just it's by design a never-ending process of going back and asking people to do things better and more efficiently. And it's like you're the most hated person in the world at most jobs.
Here's the thing I'll deal with right now real quick. Everyone at home, this includes you, right? It includes me, it includes all of us. Mm-hmm. Everyone's fucking stupid and bad at their job. No, well, everyone's stupid and bad at their fucking job.
These jobs are a little necessary. Evaluation is necessary, but it's just
like you're all fucking dog shit, and most of you couldn't tie your fucking shoes without instruction.
Yeah, I'm proud to be bad at my job as a high school teacher.
Can you people do anything? Moment.
Yeah.
The answer is nobody can.
Well, the thing is that they can. It's that nobody in American society and in the West writ large has this thing called meaningful work. Nobody has anything that means anything. And so the social contract that we have pretty clearly states, like, you don't really have to give a fuck. Unless you're, like, saving lives. Like, you don't really have to be that good at it. You don't have to care.
That's not true. Have you met your average CNA and nurse?
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Someone was talking about how like after COVID, nurses and doctors just like stopped caring about all of their patients.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They have compassion fatigue.
Mm.
And hospitals also realized after COVID that we can run this place. Well, not only that, but we can run this place with half the staff and double the hours on the people we have, and they're not going to quit. COVID like very deeply sickened an already sick society.
Yeah.
Things have gotten worse since then and just haven't gotten better. Think about like even just like remember walking around on the street? Do you remember walking around the street in like 2019? You go to a bar and like people would say excuse me and like they would move
crazy, man.
When you're walking towards them and just nobody does that now.
I don't even.
I will say
an adult.
Greg, I think people are still like polite and kind in North Carolina, but like when I moved to Buffalo, like within a couple days, I was like, man, everyone here is just like, you try to like scoot by them and they just fucking stare at you like.
Well, no, it's like that, but also like
they hit you with a Polish stare.
The generation behind us, they have no social skills, like none.
Yeah.
Like and so like they don't move. They don't know what to do when they don't have their phone out.
Like these just damn kids in their phones, I'm
getting that goddamn broccoli haircut stare. It happened to me the other day. We're like, Jaden and I are leaving the hotel, and I'm trying to walk out of like the breakfast area to the door, and like 3 dipshits with broccoli haircuts who were like 17 are like standing horizontally blocking the only way out.
Damn teens.
Up to him. They were looking at me. I get all the way up to him, and I go, "Excuse me, man. I'm trying to get through here." And he goes, "Huh?" And I go, dude, you have to like, guide them with your hands. I'm like, I'm going that way. And he goes, oh.
He was high as shit, man.
No.
He was faded off that Benjamin, Greg. You were tweaking.
You ever go get some food and like the guy working the register is like clearly
Did this just happen to you, Chan?
Mind. Yes! The guy at the Panda Express was fucking gone. He was moving in slow motion. And I was moving in slow motion, so I noticed it. I was like, dude, you're moving slower than me right now. I touched his finger when he gave me back my credit card.
I do. Awesome. So I do think that it's a little bit like every generation thinks that the younger generation has no manners. That's been a constant, but like also.
Yeah, see, like, you know, I as a legal and official high school teacher, the kids are fucked, man. Love my job. Love those kids.
I will say in regards to that, I think like my 3rd day at this job, I was like trying to like haul buckets of fish to these fat ass seals, and this like little girl came up to me and was like, "Why aren't the sea lions out? Can you bring the sea lions out so I can see them?" I was like, "We're about to feed them." She's like, "Can you feed them in front of me?" I was like, "No, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry."
No, you're not allowed to feed them in front of her?
Well, I didn't know what to say because I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, the sea lions will be there eventually. Go look at the sea turtles in the meantime. They're out.
Sea turtles, mate.
Anyways,
You should dump the fish on the little girl.
It's just very cool to like in every aspect of our society you can see that the social contract has been voided and everyone is just riding this out to see.
Hold on. I'm imagining a guy who's like a child walks up to an employee, is like, "Can I see the sea lions?" And you start writing your screed, your manifesto. The social contract is dead. The younger generation of lost all respect, lost
all of this
all
fucking
all relative saneness.
No, all of society, the social contract is dead. Because I'm sure that little brat's mother would have been like, "Well, bring out the sea lions so that my stupid little kid."
You don't know that.
You're
making this person out to get mad at.
I'm sure it wasn't that. Look, I don't know.
Actually,
it's just,
you know what?
I understand wanting to see the sea lions, but like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know.
I have a better question.
You should have
Where was this little?
to the sea
I have a better question. Where was this little bastard's parent? Probably some dumbass sitting on a phone watching a fucking AI-generated Jesus talk to her on Facebook.
I don't know where her parents were. To be fair,
You know, she was just hey, listen, let kids wander around.
Your new T-shirt from Azerbaijan Technologies.
you know what?
Let
I'm
Oakley with
joining
9Gs
the
and
Indian
Hs walk
diaspora.
around.
There's a lot of Indians in Niagara Falls. They haven't
Ain't
given me any
nobody ever
trouble.
said
They always
that before in their lives.
they always say excuse me when they're walking by. You know, sometimes they have to flash on their phones when they're taking videos, and that's annoying, and I don't know if I should tell them to stop or not. But, you know, they haven't given me any problems so far.
Shout out my Indians.
They ain't giving me problems yet.
I am proud to serve India. I'm proud to serve Modi. I'm shipping off tomorrow morning. I'm going to serve India in its national quest.
Well,
glory.
the closest
brother.
Indian food restaurant bills itself as an Indo-Pakistan cuisine restaurant. Which is it all just the same shit? Is it?
No, their stuff is nasty.
Okay.
Pakistani food's not good.
Okay. Well, I'll take your word for it. I think maybe they're just trying
Hey, I
to be a
learned
bit too much of a
fact about leprosy today, Chandran.
Let's go. Let's
Tell
go.
me something about leprosy.
Hell yeah.
So, did you know that 60% of all the world's leprosy cases come from India?
I mean, it makes sense. It's a very crowded
Lots of leprosy
subcontinent.
in India. Yeah, they got like colonies and shit.
There's like 1 billion people there. I get it.
Stop being the Indian defender, cracker boy.
I'm not defending
He's
the
more
living
giant than
conditions
you.
there. I'm just saying there's 1 billion fucking people there, and they're all crowded together. It's like shit's gonna spread.
Leprosy is curable. It's curable. They just give you antibiotics.
Okay, moving on from India. We're moving on from India on this podcast. Finally, after 3 years, we're moving on from talking about India.
It's almost 4 years.
It's like a weight off my back.
So
we're rapidly approaching 4 years of this.
I know. I was thinking about that. Can you believe it?
Wow.
And we're still not in the big times. We're still not.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Why don't we get?
Why are we not making $200,000 a month? Actually,
because we refuse to do the things that other podcasts do to get themselves outside of just like being listened to.
That's true.
That's
and
easier
that's
said than done.
We gotta have a live show.
You don't have to do a live show.
It is.
We're announcing our first ever live show.
Specifically on you, though, Austin, because you don't want to do anything that would make us money because you feel like
what?
Well, probably taking on some of these dumbass sponsor companies who want us to do ad reads.
Okay, a sponsor isn't going to make us money until we have the audience.
Okay, but we're never going to get the audience.
Do you think people listen to podcasts because they like to hear Blue Chew ads?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man? No. Okay, moving on. So, basically, circling back to what we were talking about like 10 minutes ago. Touching base again. This constant need to raise the bar is understandable. Like, I get it, but like, for example, the example, I think Mark Fisher was mostly writing this because he was like a university lecturer and he was just so fucking frustrated and annoyed at this. But like, he says, in many educational institutions, for instance, if after a classroom observation a teacher is graded as satisfactory, they will be required to undertake training prior to reassessment. Like, you literally will get in trouble if you're just doing a good job and you're not like doing an excellent job in like pushing the boundary in some way, which is like fair in some cases. You always want to be improving, but like this constant need to be pushing the needle and that's the standard is a bit unsustainable, I think. But it's like also the only way that I think places like zoos can even stay afloat. Like we're treading water right now. I don't remember what you said, but you said something like we're huffing fumes, treading water.
You're just
all out
trying
of
to
gas,
justify your
folks.
own existence. You're trying to justify your own existence all the time.
Yeah, that's what most industries in America are doing. It's just that it's getting harder for like non-essential things or like things that aren't like fucking hamburgers.
Yeah,
or
hamburgers
something.
and AK or an M16. Those are the only things we're allowed to produce in this country anymore.
I think that kind of leads into your last like written section, which I think you should read because it's important.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, we're approaching a wall here, another wall where American zoos shifted to conservation because the public got kind of frustrated with zoos, or at least there was a vocal enough subset of people that are like, oh, I don't want to, it's so sad going to see these animals in cages. They're just living their lives in cages. This is sad. I don't want to give my money to this. So what zoos pivoted to was becoming like a moral laundromat where you go there and they're constantly reminding you, remember, the money you spent on this ticket to see these fun animals is going to help promote their conservation and repopulation in the wild. So it's like, oh, okay. Yay, now I get to see an animal and feel good? Awesome. But we are hitting another wall here where this administration has dropped any remaining pretense of caring about funding public services or sustainability initiatives and is just cutting everything possible so that they can send like another $1 trillion to Israel before we all get fucking nuked in the Samson option.
I mean, talking about Reagan and Clinton earlier, then like this is the next big great privatization of our our lifestyles, right? Medicaid, Medicare / there's no more money for anything.
Like, and I don't even think people like understand what they're voting for when they're like, yes, I want everything to be cut, please. That means I get more money, right? No, that means Israel gets more money.
It just means no money for anyone. But I mean, I think the point you're making here, like with the remainder of what you wrote, was
you can
quite
read
cogent in that like a lot of these conservation projects are just being shuttered while we enter a new period of neoliberal austerity. And the point you make here about zoos hang on by the skin of their teeth because American fascists are so return coded that they don't want to scrape away the last piece of Chintzy Americana that is throwing peanuts at a gorilla.
Right, like going to the zoo with your family,
with your white family,
with your white family. They get real irritated when they see the Indians at the zoo. They're like, "Why are you even here? You don't."
White people get so mad when Indians are at the zoo. Why is that? Why do white people hate Indians
they're like,
in
look
public?
At them. They're just letting their kids on the rails doing whatever.
Yeah.
Let the kids hang out.
Did you see today that they are now charging foreign nationals more money to enter national parks?
Yeah, what the fuck? That is exactly what's happening. They're like, we can have the zoos, but it's like for white families.
Yeah, they're going to start charging non-U.S. citizens more money to enter national parks.
It's like, oh yeah, we didn't need the tourism industry anyway. It's not like that's like one of the only like real forms of income left in this country.
But I mean, I think this last point here also a great point in that the messaging of conservation progressive bullshit didn't penetrate very deeply beyond like annoying people on Twitter. And so like your average like fascist American does not realize, and I'm quoting Austin here, that zoos are libtard organizations.
Austin wrote that.
Austin did write that down.
Well, this was inspired because I was on Twitter and it was like under a zoo.
Writing, Austin, my dear boy.
Yeah, inspired. And like this conservative guy on Twitter was like under a zoo and it was like, why are all zoos woke now? They're all talking about climate change and their zookeepers have pronouns. Why are they all woke now? Go support patriotic sanctuaries.
Yeah, and so that's the other thing is that absolutely as some of the last like vestiges of American society kind of fall away, it is going to be the psychopaths who have like a bunch of monkeys in their suburban home who replace the zoo.
Yeah, like American society, the Trump era is defined by being completely disillusioned with institutions and norms. And so norm enforcing institutions like the AZA are on the chopping block. Like people see like, oh, you're accredited by an institution. I don't give a fuck. I can go to my friend's house. He's got 3 dirt bikes and a chimpanzee in his garage, dude.
Yeah. You're accredited by like a woke institution?
3 dirt.
I'm gonna go ride dirt bikes by my cousin's chimp.
But for real, like it is like we are just watching like the few things that kind of held this whole show together completely collapse around.
We're doing the bread and circuses without the circuses. There's no more circuses.
Soon enough, without the bread.
For the bread, and I said
They don't even have bread anymore, folks.
Like soon enough, this will be without the bread as well.
Yeah.
Looking forward
It's just
to that.
like we are just throwing it all away. It's so funny. I think back about I can't even remember who said this anymore. That like Americans got so tired of being on top of the world that they decided to blow it all up for fun.
Well, this whole topic made me remember this tweet by this person with the Twitter handle eBeggin, which is good, I guess. And they wrote, "You want the black sun? You're living under it. It's in Exxon Mobil, the suburbs, farmers markets, astrology columns, parents' right bills, Yale College, Instagram, Disney World, and the American flag. The Nazis won, and all you got out of it was this cheap plastic shit."
It's true. It's true.
But back to just to like wrap up my thoughts on this, the AZA itself, like Ed, you talked about like the standards for accreditation, and those are all like those aren't metrics. Those aren't measurable performance metrics. Those are like, are you raising the bar? Are you do you have exemplary animal care?
Right, that's
so
why I'm
it's
like, this isn't real. None of this is like real.
None of this is real. So what actually ends up happening is the AZA has like a council. They have a panel of experts where they just first, if you want to apply to it, which I assume costs a lot of money, you have to send in this questionnaire where you talk about your mission statement, you have to basically do tricks on it for them and talk about how great your organization is and how well it aligns with the AZA's values. And then the council will review this, and then they'll send someone to go check out your zoo in person. And then there's a whole review process where they're just pondering it for a while. And then if you get accepted, you have to reapply every 5 years.
Are you fucking for real?
Yeah, it's something where it's like the council only meets like every so often, and they only consider a certain amount of zoos at a time. Like there's not that many zoos, but like it's a grueling process, and it's all completely up to the better judgment of these individuals who are on the board, which I don't even know who's on this board, to be quite honest with you.
I bet I know.
Northrop Grumman. Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna let you insert whatever you wanted there.
Yeah.
Let you
Use your imagination.
let everybody at home project how they feel about what I would be thinking onto me. I'll look up the AZA.
They're saying he's the most racist man.
I'm 3D rotating.
He has all of your
mind.
prejudices as well.
There's a lot of boards, but I think it's like the accreditation board or something.
And they send that board head to another board meeting.
Right,
And they
the
send
big
the head
board.
of that board to the big board.
Okay, that
meeting.
doesn't really matter because the chair-elect of the board is fucking the chair of SeaWorld.
Well, see, that doesn't seem right because SeaWorld was the one that... Well, no, actually, that does make a lot of sense because SeaWorld was the one...
Willie.
Well, because SeaWorld caught all that heat, and then they were like, fuck, we can't do animal shows anymore. How are we going to justify ourselves? How are we going to stay open? So this is literally like one-to-one why that pivot had to be made. Like, you can't do fun whale tricks anymore, you know? Did Greg freeze?
Yeah, Greg is frozen. They got him.
Oh,
They got Greg.
they've
SeaWorld got him. They should bring
SeaWorld
back
did
the
take
whale
out Greg.
tricks, honestly. Were they really that bad?
It was... I'm pretty sure it
Can you
was
prove
like
that?
they just weren't having a good quality of life, the killer whales there. So, like, I understand where these standards
they were
came
doing
from
tricks on
and
it.
why the people who are enforcing them and why they are who they are. But it's just, I mean, that doesn't change the reality of just how neoliberalism has.
It's got us all in a chokehold.
I mean, it's got us all in a chokehold where you know what? I'm just gonna read Mark Fisher again.
Somebody's
He
got it.
says, initially, it might appear to be a mystery that bureaucratic measures should have intensified under neoliberal governments that have presented themselves as anti-bureaucratic and anti-Stalinist. Yet, new kinds of bureaucracy, quote, aims and objectives, outcomes, mission statements, have proliferated even as neoliberal rhetoric about the end of top-down centralized control has gained preeminence. It might seem that bureaucracy is a kind of return of the repressed, ironically reemerging at the heart of a system which has professed to destroy it. But the resurgence of bureaucracy in neoliberalism is more than an atavism or an anomaly. It's structural to neoliberalism itself, because it's like, oh, free markets, but anti-centralization. We gotta, but like really what they're saying is centralizing even more control into fewer hands of capital. You know what I mean?
That is fundamentally the end result. All the decentralization is just a smokescreen, so you don't see how centralized it has all become.
Right, like Trump. This administration is a great example where it's like, oh, we're decentralizing everything, we're cutting funding, but really what's happening is they're cutting any like sort of independent researching orgs and just making it so like, oh yeah, we're kicking all the bums off Social Security, but really what they're doing is making people
Feeding them
do
to
a
private
work search
contractors.
requirement every month where they have to like call someone on the phone and explain for an hour that they searched for this job, and this job. And it's such a fucking bureaucratic slog that they just hope you give up and kill yourself instead of continuing to apply for unemployment.
They are hoping Austin kills himself.
They want Austin to die.
They are fighting for this.
I mean, that is how they quote unquote kick abusers off of like support programs, financial support, food support, is they just institute these requirements that are just really a fucking pain in the ass to get. And when people stop applying for it, they're like, oh, well, another success, another win for, anti-corruption, when really that person has just given up on life, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all of these, like, in regards to what could actually be a measure of what a zoo is supposed to be, I do think it's all intangible values, but intangible values do have a place in our society, like going to a park. Going for a walk down the beach is an intangible value to us, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't exist.
Who needs Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, Greg
Who needs Wi-Fi,
has
white
returned.
boy?
On God, we're getting you out of Vermont, but
5 weeks.
5 weeks, brother.
Are you excited to be in like civilization again?
I am so.
I mean, he's moving to Asheville,
excited.
so like,
That's civilization.
Well, you're moving to
civilization,
woke
dummy.
city.
Yeah.
It's pronoun city.
You have to become woke, Greg. Are you ready to become woke finally?
I've got to get
I'm
more
already
bumper
woke.
stickers.
You need to get more woke.
You need to put your pronouns on your bumper sticker,
You need to
Greg,
have
if you're moving to
pronouns.
Asheville.
How you
Greg
need
is literally
pronouns
moving
woke.
to the fucking New Londo ruins right now.
A little bit. I've heard they rebuilt pretty
fine
well.
there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
They've
no, they've
rebuilt
done a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
It's like done. I'm gonna look at the accreditation commission. I'm not stopping with this bit that I was
Okay,
doing
yeah,
here.
continue before you got cut off. What's the accreditation commission?
Well, I don't know because my computer is loading each web page over the course of 45
I
seconds.
see.
Well, I'll continue my thought. Basically, like in terms of like intangible values, this guy named David Harmon, I guess he's a director for the George Wright Society for Parks, Protected Areas, and Cultural Sites. I don't know. That's not important.
This seems like an important job.
Well, no, it's in some other country, so it's not important. No,
I see.
Right, other countries are fake.
I didn't mean to say it's not important in that what he's putting forward isn't important, but rather like. Well, anyways,
Die.
Nah, come on, man.
he's not like a famous guy.
You're
I
a
guess.
leftist. Everything thing when not America.
True.
Hey,
But yeah, this guy named David Harmon, he put forward, he calls it the intangible values of protected areas, and they are recreational value, fun,
Whoa.
therapeutic value,
True.
You know, pretty straightforward. Spiritual value, even more intangible probably, but still important.
Yeah, especially to a godless heathen like you.
Cultural value,
We've established.
identity value, existence value. I don't remember what the fuck that one means.
Yeah, that doesn't sound real.
Artistic value, aesthetic value, both kind of seem like the same
Why are
thing,
they?
but whatever.
Yeah, why are they different?
I don't know. Educational value, scientific value, and peace value. I guess. I don't know. It's I don't know why that's
Peace
like.
on earth.
But like it's. I think if you had to make like a list of all the things that people get out of protected wildlife areas beyond the fact that it's keeping the earth alive on life support, that would probably be it.
Well,
but like you can't like pitch that to a right-wing administration and be like, "Oh, but dude, have you considered the peace value?"
Yeah.
They're just going to blow your head off with a fucking shotgun if you say that.
Intangible values is
we're talking real immortal science right now.
I think nature should be somewhat considered outside the capitalist loop, you know? It's got to it's got its own cycles. It's got its own things going on in there. It doesn't need to also be conforming to capitalism and the material value that things in that capitalism provides.
You would hope that nature is something outside of capitalism, but nature is something that we've talked about this before. The wilderness does not exist. Like everywhere on Earth is a human habitat. Like we've just for hundreds of thousands of years we've modified everything on Earth to our needs, and like it's not even just us. Every animal modifies the environment. Like the environment exists because we exist within it. It's not something that's separate from us. And I think what this is
Motherfuckers don't even believe in beavers.
The crux of material analysis, I feel, is, you know, the base and the superstructure, all that fun stuff. Our reality reflects the system we are living under. Like, nature is going to reflect capitalism just like nature reflected feudalism, just like nature reflected the early agricultural revolution, stuff like that.
And how we
like,
think of land and, you know, what it is.
the way we navigate reality is dictated by kind of how we perceive it through the lens of our society, which is a capitalist society, and all that fun stuff.
We have to escape this whole society thing. We should do something drastic.
Batman.
Planning something big. We got a guy on the job. This is parody satire.
You know, I don't think you have to worry about that because
somebody's planning something big. Pass on the news. I'm hearing.
Got somebody planning something
All
big.
I'm saying is pack of chimpanzees, nuclear power plant.
Planning something big. Do not detain me at the border, please. If you're listening to it,
hold on.
There's no way I can clear enough bit.
Look at my podcast, dog. We're not getting back in the country.
This is all completely
but I'm just hearing the news.
I cannot be clear enough. This is satire.
So speaking of kind of exploitation, so I mean, Austin's touched on this for like.
I was exploiting him.
Okay, so like, you know, we got three out of the four here have convergent experiences here, and then there's Greg, the finance bro. So
boy, the shit out of him.
He gets to sit in the cuck chair. All right, so Austin like has talked a lot about how the animal industry or whatever basically his industry gets away with getting people to do so much bullshit at like slave prices. Slave wages, because we're like, your profit. They're working off of people's love for the animals, for the cause, right?
It's like, oh, you're gonna go on strike. What about the animals?
Yeah, like what I mentioned to Austin, and when I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, dude, all these jobs you're expected to do anywhere else are one guy that like is getting paid a lot for this gig, right? So kind of similar experience I have here. Music, education, music, whatever, and whatever. So it's kind of, it gets up its own ass sometimes, right? There's this activity called drum corps. I did it when I was a teenager, but there's this corps called Carolina Crown, right? And they tour all summer. All right, that's fine. You know, this professional marching band tours across the United States, does its thing. To keep this machine going, because it is a nonprofit, it's considered like a whole educational deal. It's a nonprofit. You have volunteers, right? You have volunteers. You rope these poor motherfuckers in to feed the kids, drive the buses, blah blah blah, move the shit. So earlier this summer, when they were wrangling up volunteers for this, Crown posts on all their social media, "Hey, do you want an opportunity to volunteer with us? Send us your info. Here's the email." Okay, cool. What are the responsibilities? Moving hardware, setting up props, building up and breaking down in each housing site. It's like it is fucking like grunt work. It's insane. You're basically like a groupie setting up staging at concerts. People reached out to this, and I've never heard of this, right? Like it's not, they called it a volunteer position. You had to pay almost $2,000 to be a fucking be a laborer for this like activity for 2.5 months. And they almost got some motherfuckers because they're so susceptible.
Well, you're getting paid in the good feeling that you get out of doing this work, you know,
they tried
in
to
the fulfillment.
They tried to spin it, but like, well, this experience is important because, you know, by picking up these heavy things and then putting them down, you'll you know, there's logistics and shit. But it's like, oh my god, the things like nonprofits and stuff, both in like education, music education, monkey craft over there, the things that we can get away with by like preying on people's love for what they do is ridiculous.
This is why I am adamant about hating teaching. So at any moment I can drop those kids on a moment's notice and just walk away from it. If it's time to go on strike, I'll go on strike.
Really
yeah,
nice
fuck.
well,
I mean, that's the thing. Like the hope is that like, oh, if you're going into teaching, you just you're so passionate about teaching the youth so much that you would never jeopardize their futures by demanding more.
Well, yeah.
Like you gotta sacrifice yourself so that these children can have a brighter future.
And
I mean, that is kind of what's happening though, like especially with nurses.
It's the complete and utter dissolution of the social fucking contract.
Let's go. No more
public life. The thing that held American society together.
Stay in your house.
Many social contracts in the United
Drive
States.
To Swig and buy a soda.
No.
However,
then drive to Taco Bell to get a taco box and drink it with your Swig soda. Then drive back home.
The final social contract of neoliberalism, which truly is just chrome-polished fascism. The final social contract of that is completely unadulterated individualism. And what that means is that anything that held society together for the good of society, if there is no profit motive, there's no profit incentive, no one gives a shit. And the powers that be have decided that we are no longer funding things for the public good, because if you can't pay for it yourself, then you're poor, and you deserve to be outcast from the inner circle of society.
You're poor and stupid.
All of these things, and the reason that these people don't care about the fact that we don't pay our public school teachers enough, and that we don't care about the conservation work done in our communities, and we don't care about the fucking roads and the parks and you know, the sidewalks. The reason we don't care about those things is because the people at the very top, they have all of those things already. They're privatized. We're running out of things to privatize, which means that the remaining public things just languish and rot until there is nothing left. And Americans have been so well conditioned to believe in this hyper-individualistic, there is no community but me and maybe my nuclear family, that everybody accepts it. We accept it as normal, that, you know, I have to pay for certain things, or I have to do certain things by myself, or if I want to get ahead in my career that I've already dedicated a ton of money, time, effort, and years of my life to, well, I have to sell myself again and continue to struggle for an additional 5-10 years before I'll even see, you know, the minimum amount of success. You know, Greg took the shortcut in this, and that I was like, well, I can't do what I'm passionate about if I want to have, you know, this quality of life. And so I'll have to just sacrifice myself instead of do the things I'm passionate about, which I did try when I came out of college. I did try to do the things I was passionate about. I couldn't afford to do them. And so I made the choice to stop doing what I was passionate about, stop doing the thing I wanted to do to continue to build my community, because I have to take care of myself at the end of the day, because there's no social safety net in this country, and there are zero existing organizations in this country outside of the government that even attempt to say that we want to provide those things for people. And so the average person is left in this slump. I know everybody at home probably feels like this. I know the four of us feel this way. There is no community. The community you get is like your friends and sometimes your family. But if everybody's poor and there is no larger organization, no larger community to help take care of one another, then all we can do is watch. That is all we can do. That's all we're doing right now. They passed that bill. All we can do is watch. Because who's stepping in? Who's going to do something about it? It ain't our opposition party. Look at my opposition party, dog.
Jesus.
It's not.
You went through like so many things, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good thing to hop off on, and like, oh shit, here's a completely other thing. Like your whole I sacrificed myself to do the thing. That's kind of why I do what I do. I have my quote unquote day job, which I don't have to love my job if it'll fund the life that I'm happy with. But I do the other thing that like fulfills me. That's cool. But one of the very first things you said that kind of stuck out to me, because I had like an almost identical thought reading the standards for the AZA, thinking about what Austin does and what their goals are. You said like chrome fascism. I literally read that and how there's like, yeah, we have to think about conservation, taking care of the environment, blah, blah, blah. How do we perpetuate that? And it's like, great, this sounds like we're taking care of things. And then it obviously hopped into, and we also have to be like profitable or make money. I literally has like, this is Frutigar aerofascism.
That's
like,
all it is. That's all.
It's like, it's beautiful.
I mean, the pursuit
sky.
of profit above all else is something we are all forced to subject ourselves to, no matter what. And it's just, there's no good way out of it. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna run a soup kitchen just on my spare time.
But no, there is no way out of this without complete social upheaval, which nobody is comfortable doing, because there's not even like a rough draft of a framework of like, how do we support our communities if we try to do this? Nobody's trying to do it. There are no organizations that do it.
Yeah.
I know I spend half of these episodes railing on about like our existing left orgs, but they don't have a plan.
No, I think it really is important that we all be aware of how hopeless it really is. Like, it's over. Like, if you aren't accepting, I'm sorry to say, if you aren't accepting how hopeless it is now,
it's the ghost of Salvador Allende. You need to arm all 50,000 volunteers for your mayoral campaign. You need to create the Paris Commune in New York City.
Yeah, I mean,
go to the bodegas, put your hands in the cash register. Their money is your money as of right now.
Like, if you don't accept how hopeless it is, then nothing can happen.
Nothing
you have
can
to
change
accept.
If everyone
things keep
continues
happening,
to believe,
though, is the problem. It keeps getting
well, no,
worse.
but if everyone continues to believe that it will all be fine, then nothing will change. But if we truly accept that the current situation is hopeless, that will drive change.
Honestly, it's so refreshing to talk to y'all. Do you know why? I was at my writer circle last week, and I was talking to these older ladies. I'm a writer, sorry. And I was talking to these older ladies in their 30s, 40s, 50s, you know. And true blue-blooded liberals genuinely were like, "Oh, I'm still hopeful for America. I still think that it can go back to normal."
That shit makes me want to kill myself.
And I was like,
no, give up hope. We gotta destroy it all.
It's worse than having to have a conversation with like a Republican. It's worse. Because the Republicans are demented, and they'll tell you that they're demented, and they'll tell you that they do want to burn it all down. But they just want to burn it all down to do lynchings. But liberals will sit there and tell you, no, America is great because of what it is right now. And we know that in 2028, when we elect the reanimated husk of Joe Biden to the presidency, we are going to solve all of our problems. We're going to do it. We can do it.
They really thought it was good when Joe Biden was president.
Well, this is why this is the other thing. This is a point I made the other day. Protest does not work without an implicit threat of consequences for not doing what the protest demands.
If you're not going to kill the mayor, then don't protest.
Yeah,
you have to lock in. You have to be committed.
You do. If your protest is designed to march around town and then go home after making, usually in the liberals' case, a very vague demand, then that's not a protest. That is, at best, you exercising your First Amendment right to be annoying. Okay?
And in reality, it's a fucking parade. You threw a parade.
Yeah, it is. It's
Good
a
for
parade.
you.
You're throwing, and in the case of the liberals' big protests,
How did you enjoy Pride? Did you enjoy your Pride month? You threw a parade.
you threw a parade. You threw a fucking parade. A protest works, and a protest works.
Who's the lucky
a good
couple?
example. A good example, even within our neoliberal framework, your good example is France, because the protest exists as an implicit threat of if you don't do what we're protesting for, we're gonna fucking burn some buildings down, and we're gonna make you afraid to be in power.
Yeah.
If there's no implicit
Dog,
threat,
in
quite
France,
honestly, of violence,
like when they protest,
nothing
they
changes.
kidnap people.
Yeah,
Zoran Mamdani.
and those, and I want everybody to know, those are French.
Declare
liberals.
martial
Like,
law
you're all
in New
capable
York.
of this.
Take control of the city.
Ed's eyes are like darting around. Like,
No, because this
I'm
is
fighting
the
the
thing.
fire
This is the thing.
giant, but I'm also like, hey yo.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. If they were to try and arrest Zohran, right, and strip him of his citizenship, do you know
Trying
what
to
the liberal
denaturalize his
response?
ass.
Do you know what the liberal response to that will be? Like an Instagram post.
Here's
and like,
why
hey, we shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, I do want to say, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is at least in America again.
right.
Mamu Khalil,
Yeah.
still, he's out there. But that's not Instagram posting, folks. You gotta. That was the entire weight of the fucking U.S. court system, and they still have that guy just in jail. He'd never committed a crime.
Yeah. The
The entire-
quite honestly,
And
That's
then
like with
the courts
the
no
Democrats
longer
on our
work
side
anymore, by
for
the
this
way.
one thing. Like they were
Yeah.
like that was like them like
That was the
flexing what little
Supreme
power
Court
they had.
totally unified.
Yeah.
We got a guy
And-
to be in jail.
and in response to that,
Yippee.
the court then has nobody's watching this. The court has repeatedly affirmed since then that he actually probably can just disappear people.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just
And-
did the thing they did last night or like 2 nights ago.
And
The
the worst
alligator
part about the whole
Alcatraz
thing
shit is like genuine
That's
like
Genuinely,
this is the
terrifying.
end type
That's
type
it.
shit. Like this is
It
it.
is one of the things where I can look at it and go, oh,
Not
they're
a
gonna
good
do this and
time.
get away with it. And
Not a good time to be an international citizen.
I hate to
folks.
say this. I don't hate to say this. It's time for these people to face consequences. In whatever form that may be. These people need to face consequences for being fascists in our country. Lots of Marxists will go on and go, oh, everything's international proletariat. Right now, you're being a fascist in my country. It's my country. It's your country. It's all of our country.
We need to make America a third world country so that we can become nationalists and it's based.
Okay, so like
It's
I like Greg's take here. It's like, hey, you need to like take ownership of like, hey, this is happening in your country. Dude, I it is so fucking Hold up, give me 5 seconds. 5 seconds to like
Think on this one.
not even
Remember.
think. It's just kind of like I must like let the hatred leave my pores.
Yeah.
Look at my comrades, bro. They're fucking bitchlets. But like, it's so hard to try to get things across. Like, hey, you should take pride in the dirt you're standing on and the people that you are in community with. To the point where it's like, hey, this is happening in your country. When like this is of course a very online thing. I get the whole like may the American empire crumble, blah blah blah, whatever. But dog, you live here.
you got to separate that from the fact that you fucking live here.
Yeah, you can't separate. We want fascism to fail. You have to separate that from. You have to be hoping for something better. It is not enough to want the bad thing to die. Congratulations, any idiot can point out a problem.
Can I be honest? I'm
Yeah.
rooting for the bad guys because then truly, no more America. Like we're not gonna beat them.
You
We're not
live
gonna
here,
beat
Chandler.
them. So I'm ready to die. I've said this multiple times before. I say this every time we have a conversation.
Ignore Chandra.
All Americans need to die, and I'm willing to die for this
Chandra
cause.
will be setting
We
off
will
the
we
third
will
impact.
save Chandran's soul. All right, we're gonna on God. You're gonna be forgiven.
I know.
Like What
They're gonna
resistance is
purify
there?
you, bro.
What choice? What alternative is going to come
The
about?
alternative
None.
is the alternative.
The
here
alternative
is
is
the one that we
hopium.
The one is that the alternative here is the one that we keep getting close to saying, but we're not going to say on this show.
Well, right.
Is we know what the alternative is. The alternative is that, and we are fast approaching that. And in a society that hasn't been completely fucking addled like ours, we would have already hit that point.
Yeah, probably.
And so now it's a matter of how much worse does it have to get before we do hit that point, right?
So I think, something interesting, and I obviously don't think this will happen to America because America, it's a colonizing country. It's not a colonized place. It is, but like the people in power aren't the ones like you know what I mean?
Who do you think's gonna drop the nukes on America? Well, like when they finally need to be stopped.
Wait. Israel, though.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about this before, but like Palestine is an example of a place where there is no government. There's just NGOs and nonprofits stepping in to keep people alive, and they're not doing a good job at it. And there's also
genocide happening there.
They have to like make money doing it, so it's just like a completely wicked and evil process. And like the only people just like genuinely giving money to Palestine with nothing in return beyond in the past 2 years, like charitable donations from people who are horrified by the genocide, is wealthy like Gulf state Islamists, fundamentalists who are just like, we'll give you a mosque, and like that's the money we'll give you to have a community in after Israel bulldozes your home. Like Israel won't allow a government and like a civil society to form there, so they are strung up on a series of nonprofits and NGOs. And that's like the kind of government we're headed to. Like we won't reach that point.
It's the government we kind of already have, though. It is
right.
Like it's the stripping away of the government and the replacing of it with these private public partners.
The next Byzantine Empire will be a non-profit.
Congratulations, you got Ancapistan, and it's being fucking massacred.
But I do think all of you really do. If you like, we are at the point. We are at the point. This is it. We're beyond it. We probably passed it in 2003. We're beyond it. It's happened. Now is when we need to start really considering what do next steps look like, because they do not look like meaningless protesters walking around the block in a red t-shirt you bought from psl.web. All right? They look like direct action to inhibit the progress of fascism moving forward. If you live in Florida, make their life difficult. Don't get arrested. That's stupid. You don't want to go. You'll just put you inside. But go inhibit their progress.
We're going to do Metal Gear Solid 3.
All of the people who listen to this, you should all be of working age. One of you motherfuckers is bound to work for a concrete company or a goddamn brick foundry. If you're doing business with the government, fucking make the product shit. Fucking don't send it. Send it fucking late. Make their fucking lives difficult. Make it hard to operate the levers of fascism.
Is that illegal? Is this illegal what you're suggesting? Probably not.
It's not illegal to tell somebody
as long as you're not saying that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Be bad at your job.
Be bad at your job.
Be bad at your job.
Straight up. I'm not
job.
allowed to be bad at my job because I just kill a bunch of sea lions if I'm not good at my
I'll
job.
tell you
But you have to be bad at your job for
I'm
me.
bad at my job. I'm making sure that all the future workers of America can't read.
And I'll give you a fun one.
Yeah.
My first job out of college, my first real job out of college was at the Wells Fargo call center, and I can say this now because I don't give a fuck. And also this is why I left this job. Is if you work in a call center and you're handling people's money, right, a banking transaction, you can waive all the fucking fees. I did it. In 6 months, I waived
you got that like Mr. Incredible thing where the boss is like, "But what about the money?"
No, right. Mr. Incredible talking to the old lady. He's like,
in 6 months at that job, I waived $37,500 worth of fees on people's bank accounts because I could. Well, they told me I could be fired or I could quit, and I quit. But like,
coward,
go do shit like that. Go make people's lives better.
Yeah, just fuck it, man. Like, You know what? New Guerrilla Radio Show thesis. If you want to do meaningful work that you're passionate about, don't do it. Go do something where you can make the government, your politicians' lives miserable.
You're telling the Guerrilla Radio Show Nation, go be annoying.
Throw yourself in the gears of capitalism and gum up the works.
That's all you're good for.
For real,
You're,
if you're in the military,
you're just a fucking bump in the road.
That's what's happening.
Here's the deal: if you get deployed,
That's
walk
a good
off
deal.
base. Walk off base. You get deployed, you send your ass to Germany. Walk off base.
You're German.
Don't
Yeah.
come back.
You're German.
Take a new job.
Walk
Take
into
a new job.
into
Go
the
go
bog
be a
and
logger.
don't return.
Yeah, go be a logger. Or
Go
better
visit
yet,
the like
Honestly,
Frankfurt
I'm
Zoo
kind
or
of like
something. Let me
halfway
know how it
hoping
looks.
they don't let me back in the country. That I get stuck outside of America and then like I just get to live out there.
Can I have your house?
What if
I'm
the only
halfway
place that you
hoping.
could go to then is India, though?
I'd do it. I would have preferred. I would kind of
well,
preferred.
if-
No, I don't know if I
What if
prefer
they?
Germany.
They might,
Yeah,
what
hold
if
on.
they?
Let's not get
yeah,
too
but
crazy.
Chandran, what if they took your passport away and put you on a flight to India? Then you can't go anywhere except India.
I'm cool with that. I like India.
But will you?
My
like it
family
for
lives
long
in India,
periods of
Greg.
time?
I'm Indian. I like the people.
Yeah, but do you
I
wanna,
like
do you
being in
wanna live
India.
there forever? Do you want to live there forever?
If I had to, it's better than here.
Is it?
You know, it's fun. It's more fun over there.
I guess if you're Chandran, it's better than here. If you're like,
Yeah, sorry, I like India. Sorry, I
care.
like Indians.
well, not if you're
That's
Chandran.
okay.
In the sense because Chandran likes India, because Chandran's capable of being in a position to like India.
Chandran's the next. That
We
would
got a
happen
lot
to
of houses.
Chandran, and the next time. What?
We got a couple houses, you know.
Okay, the next phone call we would get from Chandran would be like he would be trying to A, scam me, and B, be telling me he now has leprosy.
We're gonna find out. Dude, we're gonna check.
I
out
got
the
leprosy,
past.
Greg.
It's gonna turn out that
I'm coming to stay over at your place.
we're gonna find everyone's
I don't care,
fucking
rub
past
up on my
level. Austin's actually an untouchable.
Austin is definitely an untouchable.
Damn.
Have you seen the
I
kind of
mean,
work he does?
I've
I've
been
worked
digging
with
around in
enough
fish guts
Brahmins.
all day, brother.
I've worked with
I've
enough
got
Brahmins, I
the
think it's
unsavory
rubbed off.
jobs.
You're not Brahmin. You're too.
Can I
crude.
be,
You're
like,
too
right below?
crass.
Can I be right
No.
below?
No.
Look at my
No,
dog.
you're-
Look at my
I,
dog.
I
bro.
would
We're not
like
making it out of the
interact with
cycle.
you like behind the counter or something. That's I think where you belong.
You know what I think would be a really good role reversal? They deport enough white people to India and they staff all the convenience stores.
That'd be really good. You don't even know what Indian convenience store is like. It's crazy, man. It's just the goddamn like shack.
We have like an hour and some change of like what I think is the thesis of this episode, and then like almost 40 minutes now of like
We're back on Indian
monitoring the
politics.
situation.
Yeah,
There's
and
nothing to monitor anymore. The situation's fucked, everyone.
It's over. Sit rep. It's all
The
fucked.
problem with talking about animals, zoos, is it all ties into conservation. Conservation is politics, and politics drives us fucking insane.
You know what we should
That's
do?
the
We should
problem
just,
with
like,
this
we should
podcast. I mean, it
just-
works because it gives us something to talk about, but like, there's
I
only
do-
so many. I thought I was
do
going to talk
wa-
about like fun seal facts today.
Oh
didn't get to
yeah,
do
yeah.
them.
Okay, okay,
Arf,
well,
Did
okay.
you know that seals go arf arf arf? Now watch this, kids.
Did you know that male sea lions can have manes like a real lion? Did you know that? Did you know that seals get all their water from eating fish? They don't drink the water around them. They get it from the fish.
Why would they drink ocean water?
Well, yeah.
I do.
But
like,
the kids don't know that.
The kids don't know that.
I do like talking about this stuff with you. It's nice talking to y'all in like a focused way.
Yeah.
Because usually, like, I mean,
Usually we're just like screaming and
well,
sobbing.
Craig and I will have these discussions at 1 a.m. during our magic hour. Chandran and I will have these discussions, you know, when we're out in fucking South End. Like, it will be like 20 minutes of like intellectualism and then 5 minutes of me telling him, hey, watch this. And then I'll go do something. And then Chandran will be like, oh, what the fuck?
Traditionally starts with chugging a beer.
It doesn't.
You
Well,
can get
no,
a
okay.
chopped cheese.
You know what?
Chinese food.
Guerrilla Radio Show Nation, you listen to me. Go out, be bad at your job, be awful at your job, and drink 10 beers a day.
Yeah, you really should.
It'll
be drinking
inoculate you to
way
the cold
more
when the
alcohol.
power finally goes out.
Fucking
All right, that's a good note to end on.
Jesus.
Thanks for listening to
Nothing
Guerrilla Radio
stated in this
Show.
episode reflects the
episode
personal
81.
opinions of anything that the host may say.
It's all
any
fake.
actions
It's
taken.
all totally
That's not how
fake.
you do that, but that's all right.
Satire, parody, satire.
Babylon will
Parody
fall,
satire.
and we'll see you next time.
I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.